Motivational quotes. There are still those of us who work to overcome corruption and believe it to be possible. Uh, Corruption is a cancer that eats away at a citizen's faith in democracy, diminishes the instinct for innovation and creativity. People should be conscious that they can change a corrupt system. None of the main issues which humanity is facing will be resolved without access to information. The duty of youth is to challenge corruption. People's indifference is the best breeding ground for corruption to grow. Integrity, transparency, and the fight against corruption have to be part of the culture. They have to be taught as fundamental values. Without strong watchdog institutions, impunity becomes the very foundation upon which systems of corruption are built. We need to tell each other our stories. We need to show that everyone, our neighbors, our families, our community leaders, everyone we know is touched by corruption. Corruption is paid by the poor. The surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently. The corruption of the best things gives rise to the worst. Corruption, the most infallible symptom of constitutional liberty. Corruption is a tree whose branches are of an immeasurable length. They spread everywhere, and the dew that drops from thence hath infected some chairs and stools of authority. Corruption, the greatest single bane of our society today. Everyone says corruption is everywhere, but for me it seems strange to say that and then not try to put the people guilty of what corruption away. Corruption never has been compulsory. Corruption is worse than prostitution. The latter might endanger the morals of an individual, the former invariably endangers the morals of the entire country. Corruption in the form of bribery and misuse of public funds is a major obstacle to democracy and economic development. The corruption of the best things gives rise to the worst. Fighting corruption is not an end in itself, but a fight for social justice, peace, and security. We must ensure that greater transparency will drive the prevention and uncovering of corruption in the years ahead. A lack of transparency results in distrust and a deep sense of insecurity. If corruption is a disease, transparency is an essential part of its treatment. The truth will always be our shield against corruption. The evil of corruption reaches into every corner of the world. It lies at the heart of the most urgent problems we face. Anyone who wants to tackle corruption must be willing to go all the way. There are no shortcuts. There can be no faith in government if our highest officers are excused from scrutiny. They should be setting the example of transparency.